Back with another one. Today, just gonna go through the watch later, scroll through and find some cool, interesting, funny videos and react to them. Hmm. Why black folks love a well done steak?
DraftKings is the place for those who love
Well,
college football.
obviously,
Watch out, Leonard.
because
Leonard's got a man streaking downfield.
Are you
probably
playing it?
something to do with
Or early
slavery.
humans gathered around communal fires, focusing on
Let's see
making
though.
their food choices both edible and safe to eat. Cooking their food simply allowed for better.
Oh,
In fact, many people genuinely defended their faith. In the
I
culinary
started
world, the
watching it
debate
apparently, but
over
I don't
steak
remember
doneness
it.
is almost as intense as the marbling in the beef itself. For decades, chefs and critics and celebrities have passionately defended their favorite level of doneness, drawing from their unique tapestry of personal experiences. Some critics can barely contain their disdain for well done steaks, often comparing it to the highest of culinary offenses. The late Anthony Bourdain
Mm,
wrote in his memoirs that diners who
the
ask for a
highest of
well done steak
culinary
are
offenses.
answered with fillets that have been spit on. Yet, let's not be too quick to pass judgment. The preference for a well done steak is not a culinary crime. In fact, many people genuinely savor the leather like texture and flavor throughout a well cooked steak. Ultimately, though, restaurants should embrace the diverse taste from rare aficionados to well done devotees. So, this brings us to how Black folks became associated with well done steaks. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like OneMikeHistory.com. If you like to support the channel, you can do
Shout
so
out
on
one
Buy Me
mic.
Coffee, Patreon page in the description below. But without further ado, early humans gathered around communal fires, focusing on making their food choices both edible and safe to eat. Cooking their food simply allowed for better digestion, with little room for luxuries such as flavor or texture. But as societies advanced, so did their culinary ambitions, controlled by cooking methods like ovens and grills. This led to the realization that temperatures of doneness could bring out unique flavors and textures. So let's fast forward to the Renaissance when the culinary arts blossomed across Europe. In the kitchens of France and England, chefs were honing their culinary craft and experimenting with flavors and textures. Although specific historical records do not pin down the exact moment the term doneness popped up into our lexicon, it's believed that variations of this term have been swirling around since at least 1150. By the 17th century, cookbooks began to provide detailed instructions on how to prepare meat, allowing diners to request their preferred level of doneness using terms like rare, medium well, and well done.
Mm,
Prior to these
I didn't know
terms,
that.
people simply would have used terms like underdone or undercooked. In the early days of the Americas, steak was a practical food source for settlers and pioneers. The abundance of cattle in the New World made it a favorite protein. Cooking methods were basic, often involving open flames and very rudimentary grills. The concept of steak doneness
No, I
had
didn't
yet
know
to be
that.
formalized. Meat was typically cooked thoroughly to mitigate health risks. As America moved into the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution brought together significant advancements in food production and preparation. Improved cooking appliances and temperature control methods allow for more precision in cooking meat. Steakhouses began to emerge in urban centers like Chicago and New York, catering to the growing middle to upper class who sought a fine dining experience. During this time, the concept of steak doneness ranging from rare to medium to take shape, influencing both culinary trends and customer preferences. In the
That's
post-World
crazy.
War
I
II
didn't
era,
know
it marked another
the
pivotal moment in the
steakhouses was
history of
like
steak doneness in
such
America.
a staple like that.
Urbanization and the rise of the backyard barbecue culture popularized grilling as a social activity. Americans began to experiment with different levels of steak doneness, leading to regional preferences. For instance, the Midwest developed a reputation for favoring their steaks medium to medium well, while the coastal areas leaned towards a rarer preparation. However, the preference for well done steaks remained ingrained for many Americans. Well done steaks were still considered the norm in many households, reflecting a mix of traditions and personal tastes. For a significant portion of the population, well done steaks symbolized a sense of familiarity and comfort rooted in generational cooking practices. However,
That's crazy.
Students, stop scrolling. I'm about to share with you my #1 study tip for studying STEM subjects, active recall. In partnership with Adobe Express, let
I
me
did
show you
not know
how
that
easy it
though.
is to
in
I thought it was
generational
just like
cooking
gonna be some
practices. However,
honestly
for
just
Black
yeah,
Americans,
here we go.
this epic tale of steak doneness begins in the smoke-filled kitchens of southern plantations. Enslaved African
Yep, I was
Americans
just about to say I
often
thought
found
this
themselves
was like
relegated to the kitchen scraps and the grisly,
I thought it
seemingly
was
unedible
just
parts of the
something
animals that
had
were
something to
often
do with
discarded.
slavery and
Faced with tough,
it didn't
stewy
seem
cuts of
like it up
meat,
until
they
this
rose to the
point.
challenge, wielding slow cooking as their magic wand. As smoky aromas filled the air, these forgotten pieces were transformed into tender, flavorful dishes, elevated by the infusion of herbs, spices, and a lot of love. The culinary practices among Black Americans have deep roots in African traditions, adapted and evolved throughout the harsh realities of enslavement. Enslaved Africans brought these traditions with them to the Americas and then infused them with Southern cuisine. Forced to make do with lesser cuts of meat, they turned to slow cooking methods such as barbecuing and braising.
I think I'm gonna
These
go to something
techniques
different.
brilliantly turn necessity into culinary innovation by rendering tougher cuts of meat tender and delicious. Over time, this tradition of well cooked meats, including steak, became a hallmark of Black kitchens. This preference likely evolved due to a mix of necessity.
Today, I want to state clearly that this is not science fiction or creating speculation. This is about national security, government accountability, and the American people's right to the truth.
This was
Let's see
taken
what they was
October
talking
30th
about
of 2024.
with that UFO
This
right
video is
quick.
of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb or this object off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. That you cannot see that drone.
Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this
No,
and do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I prefer to answer that in a skiff.
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
Said it's a bunch of
going, and it
videos
looks like
like
the
that
debris
that
was
they're not
taken with
allowed
it.
to see.
Yeah, what the hell is that? The public has been told over and over since the late 40s, there's nothing to worry about here. These mysterious craft seen by millions of people in the skies, in the oceans, over the land are not real. They're not a threat. The witnesses are wrong. They're crackpots. Don't believe it. That changed for me. What got me hooked is the paper trail. Documents that were squeezed out of the U.S. government after the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, became the law of the land. And those documents paint a much different picture than what the public, the press, and Congress have been told over many years.
Sound like you about
The
to start
documents
cooking.
from military and intelligence personnel behind closed doors admit that, quote, these things are real. They're not fictitious. They can fly in formation. They're evasive, and they outperform any aircraft known to exist, including ours. The public, of course, as I said, has been told something much different. You know, back in 1989, I reported about a guy named Bob Lazar, who claimed that he worked at a facility dubbed S4 out in the Nevada desert, very near to Area
been on this
51.
jump
He said he was part of a reverse
since
engineering program. He said there are
1989.
alien craft that will be taken apart
know
to
he
figure out
been to
how they
Area
operated out
51.
there. It's been widely
51
reported and
times.
suspected that Lockheed Martin is one of the contractors, the defense contractors, that has held this stuff, stored it away in secrecy, and tried to figure out how it works. We had managed to get inside of it. It had no wings, no rotor, no tail. It had no fuel tanks. They didn't know how it flew or how it was operated. It clearly looked like it was aerodynamic. It's not ours. It wasn't ours. We didn't make it. We didn't know who made it and how it was built and how it operated. A lot of this stuff has been moved out of government.
Sure.
As you know, Rep. Burchett, it's been given to private contractors who stashed it away. They've had it for so long that there's nobody left inside government, or very few,
Oh,
who know
no.
where it is.
And they do that to keep us from FOIA, correct?
Yeah, it's to
Man,
keep it from
They might
FOIA.
know something about them.
And I think that the contract was an incident in October of
But at the
1980.
end of the day,
We're
like,
panicking. The UFOs they disappeared. The launch control system goes back to normal. Colonel Sokolov and his team came in, took the thing apart, could not figure out what it was. It wasn't a power surge or EMPs or some of the baloney excuses that our country has given for similar events involving our nuclear missiles. They thought it was a message from wherever the UFOs were from. And that's a chilling thing.
Wherever
That was,
the
we were a
UFOs
couple
were
of
from.
seconds away from World War III starting, and the UFOs were responsible for it.
Between 2003 and 2005, 5 UAP incidents occurred at Vandenberg Air Force Base, home to the National Missile Defense Project, a top national security priority. At the time, we were conducting launches deemed by the National Reconnaissance Office as the most important in 25 years. The incursions began on October 14th, 2003, when Boeing contractors reported a massive glowing red square silently hovering over 2 missile defense sites. After several minutes, it drifted further east onto the base and vanished over the hills. This event, now known as the Vandenberg Red Square, was referenced by Representative Luna at the first hearing on this topic. Official Air Force records of this event are in possession by Aero and the FBI. Later that night,
I had to wait 6 months to get my hands on this thing. This is the weighted Highland cow, and this thing was
FBI. Later that night, while I was on duty, security guards at a critical launch site reported a bright, fast-moving object over the ocean. I responded to the incident. Chaos ensued over the radio as the object approached rapidly. I heard my friends screaming, "It's coming right at us, it's coming right for us, and now it's right here." Moments later, I heard them say that it had shot off and was gone. When I arrived on scene, I talked to 5 shaken witnesses who described a massive triangular craft larger than a football field that hovered silently for about 45 seconds over their entry control point before shooting away at impossible speed. The witnesses to this event were threatened and intimidated afterward.
On the base, I lived in the barracks. There was a little smoke pit outside. I was there
Hey,
on the
yo.
telephone and
These
looking
is
across to
real
the flight line.
testimonies.
And I see a white light pop up and stop about 100 feet in the air. I thought it was a weather balloon. The light then flies across the base, across the flight line, and as it flies to me, a triangle manifests around the light. I can't tell you if it's active camouflage. I can't tell you if it appeared around the light, but I can tell you that it was a white light and then it was a triangle. It stopped about 100 feet in front of me and approximately 100 feet above me. My telephone got extremely hot, completely froze, dead. I remember how thick it was. It was between 1 to 2 stories thick, equilateral triangle. I could never see the top of it, and the edges were 90 degrees. There were 4 lights in total, 1 light on each corner and a larger light in the center,
said
2 to
1
3
to
times
2
the size of the corner
stories.
lights. But what was
That's
really
crazy.
odd was the outside. The best way to describe it is like looking at a James Webb telescope picture where you have the colors and then the black background. So the craft itself was this black metallic flake paint, but on top of the craft was this gold lava, plasma, some type of fluid going over and around the craft. I'm under this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then the center light flashes 2 to 3 times, no sound, immediately shoots
fluid
up to
going
commercial
around the
jet level
craft.
minimum, in my opinion. And I immediately feel static electricity all over my body, and then I smell the smell of
Hold on. This is a
90
crazy
degrees.
description he gave.
There were 4 lights in total, 1 light on each corner and a larger light in the center, 2 to 3 times the size of the corner lights. But what was really odd was the outside. The best way to describe it is like looking at a James Webb telescope picture where you have the colors and then the black background. So the craft itself was this black metallic flake paint, but on top of the craft was this gold lava, plasma, some type of fluid going over and around the craft. I'm under this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then the center light flashes 2 to 3 times, no sound, immediately shoots up to commercial jet level minimum, in my opinion. And I immediately feel static electricity all over my body, and then I smell the smell of after a thunderstorm or lightning storm, that really strong summer thunderstorm smell.
And do you think that, in your opinion, that the equilateral triangle was the U.S. government's technology?
I did once upon a time, but knowing what I know now, I'll have to answer that question in a skiff probably.
Well, my next question is, you teased us, so knowing what you know now means what?
I know enough to know that if you want an answer to that question, go to Arrow. They have the answer.
Do you think it was a foreign government?
I do not.
Are you scared for your safety?
Era. What's era?
That's a complicated question. So being here today, if I say the wrong word, technically I can be charged with espionage. Espionage is a death penalty. Whistleblowers have faced it. John Kiriakou, for example. I am not scared for my physical safety in the sense of an agency or company coming to kill me, but I have no job. My career has been tarnished. You know, I'm unemployed, living off of unemployment for the next 3-4 weeks until that's gone. So it's a complicated question.
Have there been stories leaked about your life to try to discredit you in the public eye?
As of now, I don't know.
We know they did that to Mr. Grush.
I am aware. Yes, ma'am.
Even when we're reviewing the budget, we go into a skiff, we look at DoD budget and the budget of like black box programs, and we don't know what we're looking at because we don't know what these programs are. Is it a way for the government to hide from Congress what's really going on and where the money's going?
In my opinion, absolutely, yes.
Is base systems involved in any way with reverse engineering exploitation of non-human intelligence craft?
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a conversation this skiff for that. Whether I'm legally even allowed to answer that, and whether you're even allowed to hear it, sir.
What's going on with that?
The endless night descends upon Limveld.
That was crazy. That was interesting. That was interesting. That's the most interesting one, I guess, that I've seen, that I've caught. I'm not saying like there's probably more interesting sessions out there, but that was a good one. Okay. Let's get a good one. Let's look at some movie trailers. It's about to come out. Zootopia. Oh, what? It's a Spawn movie. Trailer just dropped a day ago.
The target is under control. Sector is clear. Awaiting orders.
Y'all tuned in.
Squad, move out.
Time.
Simmons report.
The target is under control.
This is a new trailer
Sector
I
is
ain't
clear.
seen yet.
Awaiting orders.
You know, sometimes the best way out is to get rid of the witness.
What do you mean?
This is an order. Nothing personal.
Born in the fire, I rise from the pain. Chains on my soul, but I break from the chains.
Simmons, you stay behind. That's not a
Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan.
I trusted you, brother. Never
That
expected the
looked
blow to
like
come
Kerry
from you.
Washington, but I'm not sure yet.
This is the end.
Yeah, it is her.
I am the darkness, I live for the fight.
You want her back,
Yeah, that's Kerry
soldier.
Washington.
The world already buried you, but I can dig you out for a price.
I'd walk through hell itself if it meant holding her one more time.
That's a direct order. Do it now.
Oh
I think I'm their weapon, but I am their curse.
Born in the fire, I rise from the pain. Chains on my soul, but I break from the chains. Hell couldn't hold me, I'm back in the night. Spawn in the shadows, I'm ready to fight.
no. Maybe it's the trailer. That did not look like it was all that to me.
We're on a mission to give 2 million people all around the world clean water. This village of
I've taken out hundreds of targets. All for the same people.
12 hours ago, y'all. Hitman movie trailer. Let's get it. With
They said it
Jason
was
Statham.
necessary.
Jason
last
Statham,
words?
yeah. I had to write.
But they were the ones pulling
Anyway,
the strings.
there's nobody else who
Protect
should
me.
have played it.
And we can
I
bring
don't
this
think.
corrupted
Me
assassination
personally.
program to light.
Yes, it's
But now, it's clear I'm just a tool in their game.
Allegations of human trials and off-books assassinations surface.
Asset 47 gone rogue. I repeat, Asset 47 gone rogue. If he lives, this goes public. Kill both of them. The girl and Asset 47. But maybe it's time to change the game.
They did a Hitman movie before, didn't they? I don't think Jason Statham played it though. Let's see.
In a jungle where no human foot had ever set, a child was born.
10 hours ago.
A
What's up
child
with all
who lost
these
his parents
trailers
at the
coming out,
very
man?
beginning. But a gentle gorilla named Kala took him in.
I hope
And in
these
the
are
heart
real
of the
and not
jungle,
AI.
among the wild and the trees, he was raised.
You wouldn't believe it, but Tarzan grew up in that jungle, raised by gorillas. He's not like anyone I've ever met. There's a wildness to him, but also something deeply human.
I don't care about any of that. What matters is he connects us to the gorillas.
I'll tell you one thing. These trailers ain't showing
An
like
IQ
that
of
much.
85 to 115 is considered average in the US. An IQ of 115 to 145 is considered high, and an IQ above.
For years, we lived in peace, raising families, rebuilding what we had lost.
I told myself the war was over, that our children would never know the fear we felt. The war ended, but the shadows never left.
Something is moving in the shadows. Something older, darker than before.
The world we knew is fading.
Return of the Dark Lord.
Magic is breaking.
That's crazy. That's probably the best one out of the other ones I saw. I think I might go ahead and call it, y'all. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one.